Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, your regular injection of mind-numbing local news. This is episode 360 now, and joining us, as always, is Rob. How are you, Rob?
Hi, mate. Yeah, I'm getting ill again. I think nothing too serious. I think it's just a cold, thankfully. Apart from that, fine. I feel like the summer's been and gone, which is alarming considering it's April. But it just feels like the weather has just reverted back to a wintry state, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm sure that I think that is meant to change as April progresses, Rob, so I wouldn't worry too much. I mean, but yeah, don't let that put you off. I mean, Rob and I were talking, weren't we, Rob, off air about the cost of living crisis and how much it's impacting both of us, and I'm sure it's all impacting you. And it just is a horrible time at the moment for most people financially. So what we would say to you now is let this podcast just be an oasis of calm and pleasure away from the worries of the world. So we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about stupid news stories to really to really cheer you up. And then probably at different points throughout the podcast, I'll try and encourage you to spend some of the money you don't have at the moment on becoming a Patreon member. It's £2 a month. It's patreon.com/LAPodcast extra if you have the funds, of course. But you get 2 episodes every month, and there's a whole backlog of 20 episodes on there. But thank you so much to all our Patreon members already. But yeah, look, it's a crappy time at the moment, and we know what it feels like, and we just got to ride this out, really, Rob, all of us. And I mean, look, Rob, in the 10 years we've been doing this podcast, we have seen ups and downs, changes in political administrations. We've seen it all, Rob. And but one thing persists, Rob, and that is the stupidity of people in local news stories never goes away.
No, and also, Alex, I mean, I don't want to sound like a pessimist, but you say there's been ups and downs. It feels like we're on a it's been like a downward trend for some time now.
Well, I agree with that.
Hopefully that'll change.
I did say, didn't I? I can't remember when it was, but at some point last year I said my prediction is from this point on, nothing really improves. Nothing gets better from here on in. Will be the quote I want, maybe on my tombstone. And I still believe that. But within this downward slope towards Armageddon that we're hurtling, there will still be, periods of levity, I would say, and joy.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, let me kick off with some news that hopefully will bring some of that levity and joy you've just mentioned.
Right.
So you've often been very disparaging about our listenership. Unfairly, I've always maintained. So
they're scum, Rob. Absolute scum. Absolute scum.
Okay. Well, those are Alex's comments. I would like to distance myself from those. So anyway, look, Kyber shared this on our Facebook group. He basically said, surprised the boys kept this one quiet. I'm particularly looking forward to episode 5, which has the title, Roberto is retired from the boring, but Alex won't let him forget his past. What am I talking about, Alex? Well, it appears that Kyber's been listening to a book at bedtime on Radio 4. And they are serializing a book called Alex and Robert, I should say. Which would you like to know what it's about?
Is it a love story, Rob?
Well, kind of, yes. So it was based on a poem.
Right.
Let me just find it. I had it had it open a second ago. So it was based on a poem by Weena Pon, I think it is. So just to give you the synopsis. So in 1959, two famous Spanish bullfighters who were both friends died. This is a title. This title is a modern retelling of their grandchildren. Alexandra, a young woman determined to become a matador. Roberto, a reluctant Spanish bullfighter, who she recruits to help her.
So I'm the female bullfighter. I'm the female aspirational bullfighter.
Yes, you're an aspiring bullfighter, and I'm the Spanish star who's retired, but she's coaxed.
She comes out of retirement
to help her. Yeah, to fulfill her dream. Yeah,
sounds shit.
So, well, if anyone's interested, there's I think there was 9 or 10 episodes on a book at bedtime, and Kyber, we have been keeping it from you. It's just a side project that we're working on. Yeah. But BBC Radio 4 picked it up, and hopefully it will start helping us financially very soon.
Rob and I wrote it as an allegory for our love. It's sort of veiled because we didn't want to, fully go public, but this is our way of trying to tell our story. Now listen.
Can I just say that the ball is obviously our love and lust. It's constantly between us. It's a metaphor for the raging
passions.
Exactly. But yeah, enjoy that. All episodes are available now.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, can I get ahead? Can I start?
Please do.
Now, whilst Russia has been invading Ukraine, I do feel it took our eye off the ball of COVID, but COVID is still a thing, and in fact is rampant in England at the moment. It's still a big concern.
New record highs, lovely.
Yeah, and also I think this is really impacting I said I wouldn't talk about it, but it's really impacting our economy as well, because there are a lot of people off work. There's work absences, and a lot of places are struggling with short staffing and everything. So I want to talk about a COVID-related story from Germany, Rob. It's from and I'm sorry to do this, but it is from the traitorous Guardian. And it is by the Associated Press, so it's actually an Associated Press story being reported in the Guardian. And the headline is, so the date is Sunday, 3rd of April, 2022, and the headline is, German man suspected of having 90 COVID jabs to sell vaccination cards. Now, Rob, just breathe that in. 90 vaccinations. You're going to get hooked on it, aren't you? You're going to get hooked on it like a drug.
Wasn't this this was our idea? Do you not remember
yes.
I had a story about a man with a fake arm, and you said that maybe I could do this to try and make some money.
Project.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm annoyed that he's stolen my idea.
We can only assume, Rob, that Hans, or whatever his name was, has listened to this podcast and thought, you know what, I'm going to do that. So a 60-year-old man allegedly had himself vaccinated against COVID-19 over 90 times in order to sell vaccination cards to people who did not want to get the jab themselves. The man from the East German city of Magdeburg, whose name was not released in line with German privacy rules, is said to have received up to 90 shots against COVID at vaccination centres in Saxony for months until he was caught by police, the German news agency DPA reported on Sunday. The suspect was not detained but is under investigation for issuing vaccination cards without authorisation and document forgery, DPA reported. Can I just say, Rob, issuing vaccination cards without authorisation. I like it as an episode title. I know it maybe is a bit on the drier side, but I do like it. It might get some hits as well,
True.
So he was caught, Rob, at a vaccination centre in Eilenberg in Saxony when he showed up for a COVID shot for the second day in a row. Police confiscated several blank... Police confiscated...
Come on, mate.
Police... Well, I thought it was going to turn up like an hour later for another one. Give me another one.
He literally... There's a revolving door. He just went out and came back in again.
Exactly. Police confiscated several blank vaccination cards from him and initiated criminal proceedings. By taking the jab doses, the man would have been given real vaccine batch numbers to put on the cards. It was not immediately clear what impact the approximately 90 shot of COVID-19 vaccines, which from different brands, had on the man's health. So, Rob, we're talking, he ran the gamut of Pfizer, Moderna, presumably AstraZeneca. Now, I think he would make a good advert for your anti-vaxxers, if you know what I mean. So people who are opposed to the anti-vax movement could say, this guy, he's still standing. And he's had it 90 times, unless, of course, he's a gibbering imbecile by now, and that wouldn't look too good. But
that's what I'm concerned about, because surely would this not made him unbelievably ill to have that much of the... I mean, I know it's obviously it's only trace amounts, but surely he must have had some adverse consequences or had some adverse side effects.
You would think, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, this is all we know. German police have conducted many raids in connection with forgery of vaccination passports in recent months. Many COVID deniers refuse to get vaccinated in Germany, but at the same time want to have the coveted passports to make access to public life and venues such as restaurants, theatres, swimming pools or workplaces much easier. And in a way, that makes me kind of glad that we don't really have that, do we, Rob? As far as I know, I don't need a COVID pass to go into a restaurant, do I? Unless I've been missing something.
Alex, all the COVID regulations have been dropped now.
Of course.
Which is mainly the problem.
To appease the public's anger over Partygate. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Germany has had high infection numbers for weeks, yet many measures to rein in the pandemic ended on Friday. Wearing masks is no longer compulsory in grocery stores and most theatres, but it is still mandatory on public transportation. Health experts say the most recent surge of infections in Germany, triggered by the BA.2 Omicron subvariant, may have peaked. On Sunday, the country's disease control agency reported 74,053 new infections in one day, while less than a week ago it reported 111,224 daily infections. Overall, Rob, how many deaths do you think Germany has registered? Do we want to play this as a game? Is it right to do? I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Probably not, but let's do it anyway. So is that since the start of the pandemic?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 50,000.
130,029 COVID-related deaths.
Right,
Rob. Who wants to be a millionaire?
Me. I do.
Yes.
I could really use the money. I things are tight, Alex. I'm not going to lie.
Me too. Now, we never really talked about this on the podcast, but Rob and I think it was me who noticed it first. I can't remember, but a number of years ago, I think I gave you a call and I said, have you ever noticed how our sting sounds very similar to the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire theme tune? Dun,
yes.
dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun. Remember that? Anyway, but Rob, look, the Wales Online, we have the return of the quiz in local newspapers, Rob, okay? Because I've got a story here from the Wales Online, and we're going to put you through this test. It's by Bill Hayward, who is the Welsh Affairs editor.
Right.
How far would you get in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Try our quiz. So basically, the reason they did this is that in 2020, so they're obviously struggling for stories right now, Rob. They're really struggling for stories. Because in 2020, the brilliantly named Donald Fear managed to... What a name. Donald Fear.
That's a great name. Also, I feel that could be another pseudonym of Donald Trump.
I was going to say,
Donald Fear.
do you think... I think Donald Trump should change his name to Donald Fear, and then we could have a President Fear the next... election.
I do like that. Yeah.
He managed to become the first £1 million winner on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in 14 years. Smashing through the answers, he didn't even need his phone a friend lifeline. Anyway, we're going to go through the questions. I did this myself, Rob, and I'm honestly telling you this is true. I got to 500,000, but then I got one wrong.
Right, okay.
So that's not bad.
No pressure then. No, it's not bad at all. Not at all.
Okay, due to issues of copyright and all these other, things, we can't really use the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music, but here is some suitably sort of similar quizzy type music. Rob. Okay, Rob, so the pressure is on. Question 1 of 15. Right, this is for £1, Rob. In the UK, the abbreviation NHS stands for National What Service?
Health Service.
Your options are humanity, health, honour, or household.
I like the National Honour Service. National Health Service, Alex, that's my final answer.
Correct. Which Disney character famously leaves a glass slipper behind at a royal ball? Pocahontas, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, or Elsa?
Cinderella.
Elsa. Correct. This is going to be a bit tedious, the opening bits, admittedly. Now, for £300, what name is given to the revolving belt machinery in an airport that delivers checked luggage from the plane to the baggage reclaim? Is it, Rob, hangar, terminal, concourse, or carousel?
Carousel, Alex.
For £500, Rob, which of these brands was chiefly associated with the manufacture of household locks? Philips, Flymo, Chubb, or Ronseal?
Chubb, Alex.
You've just won £500. I don't think I'm going to be getting Jeremy Clarkson's job anytime soon, but obviously if we were doing it on the show, I'd do it much more theatrically. Right, okay, Rob, for £1,000. Now, you've got this tattooed on your arm, I believe, so you should know the answer to this. The hammer and sickle is one of the most recognisable symbols of which political ideology? Republicanism, communism, conservatism, or liberalism?
Communism, Alex.
Correct. Question 6. Which toys have been marketed with the phrase robots in disguise? I wouldn't be able to do that on the show, I would have broken the rules. Is it Bratz dolls, Sylvanian families, Hatchimals, or Transformers?
It's Transformers, Alex, although I do like the idea it might be Sylvanian families.
I know, I can't believe they're still around.
Be a nice twist.
Right, okay Rob, we're getting serious now. Question 7 out of 15. And okay, so you're allowed one lifeline. I'll give you one. I didn't have it. You're allowed one lifeline. That is phone a friend, and I will be your friend, and I will give you the honest answer of what I think it is.
Okay.
What does the word loquacious mean? So that's LOQUACIOUS. Does it mean angry, chatty, beautiful, or shy?
Oh, I think it means chatty, but I'll defer to you in this particular instance because I'm not entirely sure.
So I'm going to be your phone a friend?
Yeah.
The answer, in my mind, is chatty as well.
Okay, I'm going to go with chatty then, in which case.
Correct.
Because I think... I remember someone saying that apparently if they use the word loquacious in an obituary, it means they used to drink a lot. Which I'm not entirely sure if that's true, but anyway, carry on.
Yeah, anyway. So, for £8,000... obstetrics is a branch of medicine particularly concerned with what? Now, you should know the answer to this, Rob. Is it childbirth, broken bones, heart conditions, or old age?
It is childbirth, Alex.
Okay, Rob, we're now sick for £16,000. Question 9 of 15. In Doctor Who, what was the signature look of the Fourth Doctor as portrayed by Tom Baker? Was it bow tie, braces, and tweed jacket? Wide-brimmed hay, an extra-long scarf. I think they should say, wide-brimmed hat, an extra-long scarf. It's a typo. Pinstripe suit and trainers, or cap, velvet jacket, and frilly shirt, which of course is what you've got on now, Rob.
It is. But obviously that's a very different Doctor. In this particular case, it's the wide-brimmed hat and the long scarf, Alex.
Correct. Right, 32,000, Rob. Which of these religious observances lasts for the shortest period of time during the calendar year? Now, the winner of this, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, he had to use his 50-50 lifeline on this question. Oh, so there were 4 answers, they've only given us 2. So we have to pretend, Rob, that you used your 50-50.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, because so your 50-50 that you've used, the answer is between Ramadan and Diwali. So which lasts for the shortest period of time during the calendar year?
It's Diwali, Alex.
Well done, Rob. Well done. For £64,000, at the closest point, which island group is only 50 miles southeast off the coast of Florida? Now, I'm going to tell you, I guessed this and was lucky and got it right. I'm not sure I would have guessed it on the show. Yeah? So, at the closest point...
okay, go on.
Which island group is only 50 miles southeast of the coast of Florida? Is it the Bahamas, the US Virgin Islands, Turks and Caicos Islands, or Bermuda?
Wait, I don't think it's Bermuda. I don't think it's the Virgin Islands. So what were the other 2 again?
Turks and Caicos Islands and the Bahamas.
I don't think it's Bahamas. I'm going to go with the Turks and those ones.
Well, you've exited the quiz, Rob, because the answer was the Bahamas. So you lost a lot of money there. Would you like to just do the last few questions?
Yeah,
for 125,000. Construction of which of these famous landmarks was completed first? I also got this right and was proud to do so. The Empire State Building, the Royal Albert Hall, the Eiffel Tower, or Big Ben Clock Tower? Which of these famous landmarks was completed first? Empire State, Royal Albert Hall, Eiffel Tower, or the Big Ben Clock Tower?
I think it's either going to be the Royal Albert Hall or the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to go with... I don't think that's right, because I think it would have been after his death. I'll go with the Eiffel Tower.
The answer is the Big Ben Clock Tower.
Oh, okay.
£250,000. Which of these cetaceans is classified as a toothed whale? I also got this right on purely instinct. Grey whale, minke whale, sperm whale, or humpback whale? So that's grey whale, minke whale, sperm whale, or humpback whale. And the question is, which of these cetaceans is classified as a toothed whale?
I'm assuming... Sorry, give me the whales again?
I seem to have gone off the question. I'll just, the answer was sperm whale. For £500,000, who is the only British politician to have held all 4 great offices of state at some point during their career? This is where I exited the quiz, Rob. Is it David Lloyd James, Harold Wilson, James Callaghan, or John Major? The only British politician to have held all 4 great offices of state. I believe this is the kind of thing you'd know from a pub quiz or something.
Well, it's not Major. I wouldn't have thought. So David Lloyd George. So James Callaghan, David Lloyd George, and then
David Lloyd James.
David Lloyd James.
David Lloyd James, Harold Wilson. Well, unless there's another typo here, and James Callaghan.
Yeah, I think it's David Lloyd George. Anyway, I'm gonna say. I'm going to say Howard Wilson.
The answer is James Callahan. So we exited on the same one. And the last question, which was for the million, which I got right when I tried it. For £1 million in 1718, which pirate died in battle off the coast of what is now North Carolina? Calico Jack, Blackbeard, Bartholomew Roberts, or Captain Kidd? So in 1718, which pirate died in battle off the coast of what is now North Carolina? And your options are, Rob, Calico Jack, Blackbeard, Bartholomew Roberts, or Captain Kidd?
I'm going to say Captain Kidd. I have no idea. But yeah, Captain Kidd, why not?
I guessed Blackbeard. I was correct. You were not. There's your answer. There's one comment, Rob, on this story, and they've just simply, it's Dreamgirl99 who simply says 10 out of 15.
Lovely.
Right. Okay, last story, Rob. This is why, to be fair, that was a bit of a detour. This is why I was on the Wales Online. It's by Jessica Taylor and Alan Johnson. I don't know if that's the ex-Home Secretary, Alan Johnson, and probably best Prime Minister we never, or best Labour leader we never had because he never wanted to take it. But Alan Johnson, I don't think he's moonlighting as a Wales Online journalist. He could be.
I hope not. No, I feel that, I feel he's better than that, Alex. He doesn't deserve
This is from April 3rd, 2022. Headline: Former M&S cashier 20 earns £50,000 in 3 months eating Percy Pigs sweets in the nude.
Yeah, I've seen this story. It's been on countless local news outlets. Alex, it's something that I've picked up a lot over the last maybe year or so, that are journalists just spending all their time on OnlyFans? Because there's a lot of stories about people who, in their former careers, weren't making a lot of money and suddenly they're getting nude and making a small fortune.
What I would say, Rob, is people talk a lot about gender imbalances and gender inequality, right? But the bottom line is, I cannot make £50,000 in 3 months eating Percy Pig sweets in the nude. I wouldn't even rake in £1. And
Alex, be fair to yourself, you haven't tried.
You're right.
Give it
obviously
a go
that
and
was
see
meant
what
in
happens.
jest. I mean, I just think all these exploitative. I understand it's a quick route to cash, but fundamentally it's based on exploitation. You wonder how many more people are going to be funneled into these kind of industries with what's going on. But anyway, her name is Orla Melissa, and Orla is of course an anagram. You can work that out for yourself. But anyway, she says it's very empowering being her own boss. A 20-year-old former Marks and Spencer cashier is now raking in the money, eating the supermarket's famous sweet Percy Pigs on camera in the nude. Orla Melissa decided to leave her role in the store for a job that would bring in a little more cash and set her sights on selling adult content on streaming platform FanView. Yeah. And the risk appears to have paid off, as since the start of 2020 she has earned a staggering £50,000 from Percy Pig content alone. Since she embarked on her new career, Orla says she has no regrets and absolutely loves her new job. It's been so empowering becoming my own boss and choosing which hours I work, she said. Surely eating that many Percy Pigs isn't going to be good for you, Rob?
No, possibly not, Alex.
Is it?
But also, maybe I'm wrong, but all these people who are on OnlyFans, surely this is going to have only a very limited shelf life. Oh, am I being willfully naive here?
What do you mean limited shelf life? The Percy Pigs? I don't understand.
No, but I'm just saying, if they're doing the same thing, you can only do so much, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm just waiting. Is there going to be a new trend? I mean, no, I suppose, but then saying that porn hasn't exactly died out, has it?
No, Rob, I think people's taste for titillation and that kind of thing is pretty much, it's a unquenchable thirst. In the early days of her new career, a friend pointed out a half-eaten bag of Percy Pigs in her car, which gave her the inspiration for some niche new content. She decided to send a few photos of herself eating her favourite gummy sweets to some subscribers, but was surprised to learn they absolutely loved the new content and demanded more. They can't get enough of them, she said. A Percy Pig fetish group developed through my subscribers. Maybe we need to do that, Rob, on Patreon. Maybe we need to get you in from Gimp Gear and see if we can get a fetish group started.
I mean, it's worth a go, Alex. As I said, I think times are hard at the moment, so may as well.
Well, Rob, she says, I'll leave you to react to this. She joked it was only a matter of time before her fans start asking her to make Colin the Caterpillar content.
Yeah,
Rob, can I just ask you? You look like. Hang on a minute, Rob. You look like a man right, who, as I'm telling this story, is looking up all of Melissa as we speak. You look very distracted. You're not really listening to the story. Is that what you're doing? I know, men.
Alex, I don't know I don't appreciate what you're implying here. I was merely preparing my stories, and look, I'll be honest. My hand slipped and I accidentally typed in Percy Pig and her name. But
have you seen the pictures of her eating the Percy Pigs? Have they? Have you seen the pictures of her eating Percy Pigs? Have you? Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's just
what you were doing, Rob, is you were looking at the screen and you gave the screen a subtle nod as if to say, "Yeah, she's all right."
Alex, I'm outraged. I'm a happily married man here, but yeah.
Rob, all I reckon. Let me spare your blushes. All I reckons the best sweets in the Percy Pig family are the fizzy pigtails. But she added, no one has asked her to eat the vegan versions yet on camera. While she's always a big fan of sweets and thinks her requests are hilarious, she considers she's conscious of not eating too many. The eating requests are great because I love Percy's, but I don't want to lose my figure either, she said. Although some might question Orla's job, her loved ones say they have no issue with how she makes her money and are, in quotes, really supportive. Orla added, they always knew I wasn't going to stick it out in M&S. But I'm happy I work there as it's where the inspiration came from for the Percy Pig content. It's much easier for me to treat my friends and family thanks to the financial security I now have as an adult creator on FanView.
It's just, I don't know, Alex. It just feels slightly bleak.
It does.
But good luck to her.
Just to let you know as well, Rob, that underneath that story is the headline, sunflower oil will run out in weeks due to Ukraine war. So say goodbye to your crisps, buddy. Okay, Rob, you got a story for us there.
Yeah, just a very quick one to start off with, because I just find it entertaining. So it's from the Manchester Evening News by Faith Pring, good name, and Louisa Gregson. It is from the 3rd of April. And the headline is, driver crashes newly bought Ferrari after driving it for 2 miles.
I read this. I had it saved. It was for a future episode. Yes, very unfortunate. Yeah.
Brilliant. So yeah, a Ferrari driver crashed their newly purchased vehicle in Derby. I'm surprised that people can afford that in Derby. After driving for just 2 miles. Whilst there are no injuries following the crash, the car shows plenty of damage. The crash
does.
Happened
it's
early
properly
today.
bashed up.
He's probably smashed at the front end, yeah. Which happened earlier today on the Derby underpass of the Pentagon Island near the city centre. Caused significant damage to the bonnet. No injuries were reported following the crash, with Derbyshire police attending the scene following the incident. As many social media users assumed the story and the pictures were an April Fool's Day prank, the force confirmed this was not the case. The car is thought to be worth in excess of £100,000 and could have cost up to £245,000. So there's that.
And Rob, before you move on from that, let's just think about this, because I always think to myself, if I was going to buy a Ferrari, Lamborghini, that type of car, I would say to the place, I want a few test drives before I drive this off the forecourt, because it's going to be, you've got to understand, it's going to be an immeasurably different experience. The ride height, the speed, just everything about it is going to feel completely different than driving, a Vauxhall Corsa. So I would not want to just be, that's the first time I've properly driven it as I leave. It's also a completely pointless car to own anywhere really in the UK, because you're not really going to get to enjoy it in the way.
No, absolutely. I completely agree, Alex. I mean, and you think it might be slightly irresponsible for the dealership to say, have you owned one of these cars before? If not, could I recommend a test drive? Just so you get a feel for it. Because, as you rightly say, Alex, as soon as you put your foot down on the accelerator, and as I assume has happened here, he's obviously lost control of the car. Although maybe that first mile he must have enjoyed before, unfortunately, the second mile where he crashed it. Who's
exactly. But also, one of the things I enjoy about my car is that it's fucking old now. It's bashed up. And so I don't care about it, in the sense that if I bought a Ferrari, every time I went off on a drive, I would just be so petrified of anything happening, because the cost to repair it would be astronomical. So therefore, you're better off just having a car that does the job, but that you're not that bothered about, is my advice.
I've never talked about it in this podcast, but for my work, I went to a car auction before Christmas. Sorry. Well,
you have to tell me off air why you had to do that.
Yeah. But I mean, so to give you an idea, the cars here they started off on about 30,000, and the most expensive was 6 million. About actually 5.5 million.
What the fuck costs 5.5 million in the car world?
Well, there was two cars there. So there was a Ferrari LaFerrari, which is the Ferrari's only hybrid, and there's only a select amount that were made. There was also, I think I'm right in saying, I think it's a C-type Jag, which are exceedingly rare. I think it's a C-type. Let me just Google that. Yeah, it's a C-type Jag, which was, I think that was 5 million. But the reason I mention this is also there was an Aston Martin there that was literally race spec and not road legal. So if you brought it, you could only race it on the track. It literally, because of the specifications, it literally cannot be driven on the road.
Rob, were you there bidding on cars?
Alex, what do you think? No. We were invited there along by Sotheby's as part of my work, and we had a school group with us as well, and they very kindly gave us a tour around the showroom. And introduced, talked about the history of the cars. It was fascinating.
Rob, have you switched jobs at some point and not told me what you're doing at the moment? Because I thought you.
Sorry, I work for Sotheby's. Did I not mention that?
Right, no, I didn't know that. Okay. Anyway, look, Rob, have you got another story for us?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Right. Okay. Alex, this is great. This is from the Teesside Live. Which obviously is up north. It's by Eden Lewis, who is the multimedia journalist. It's from the 30th of March. The headline is, "Can you call back later? Stockton man convinced ghost sent text to girlfriend after trip to York." Okay, so a Teesside man believes a ghost texted his girlfriend from his phone after a day trip to York.
Hang on a minute. Oh, whoa, I didn't know that bit of it. I didn't text you. It was a ghost that texted you. So has he sent her a text that he shouldn't have sent? And he's now trying to blame it on a ghost? Or, you know that whole thing, Rob, when you text somebody, you've done it with me before, and I'm sure I've done it with you, where you've texted me, but you meant to be texting Sarah, and you've said, see you when I get home, XX, and you've had said to me, I didn't mean to send that to you. That horrible feeling you get when I send a text that I meant to send to my partner, to my mum, or something like that, you know? You know what I mean? That feeling. Is that what's happened here? Yeah. Is it like where he's texting his secret girlfriend and he's accidentally texted his girlfriend and he's like, no, I didn't send that. A ghost sent it.
Alex, I don't know why you're being disparaging. It's clearly a ghost has texted it from his phone to his girlfriend. So yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop being flippant. Yeah, I think that's exactly what's happened. He's maybe he has a side piece that he texts the wrong person whilst on a romantic trip away to York together. So the man from Stockton, who wishes to remain anonymous, believes he was a victim of because of course he does. Believes he was a victim of paranormal activity after visiting the haunted city on Monday, March 21st.
I like a victim of paranormal activity as an episode title.
Yeah, good point, yeah. The man and his girlfriend had enjoyed a day out and sampled a couple of the city's 365 pubs. York has 365 pubs, did not know that. Then
365? One for every day of the year? What's that about?
Apparently so, yeah.
Hey, Rob! Wait a second, my friend. In 5 episodes' time, Rob, we will have enough episodes that people can listen one every day of the year.
Oh, yes. So
that's a milestone.
Go to York. So they could go to York and then listen to an episode in each of the pub or during a pub crawl.
And I'd like it if somebody tried that. Yeah.
I might reach out to the City of York Tourist Board and see whether they'll be on board with that. See if they can become an official sponsor.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so, as I said, the man and his girlfriend had enjoyed a day out and sampled a couple of the city's 365 pubs. Then at 2 a.m, whilst they were both asleep, his girlfriend received a text from his phone and he believes a ghost was behind the message. The 40-year-old said, "When we were in York, I took a photo of the corridors and a pub leading to the toilets because I thought it looked creepy. Thinking nothing of it, I sent it to my girlfriend so she could see it. At 1:48 a.m. the next morning, we both received a text from my phone saying, 'Can you call back later?' I mean, already that's a strange thing to do, right?
Right.
I hadn't sent the text, obviously, because I was asleep, so we were both really confused as to where it came from. I think it may have been from the haunted pub we visited earlier in the day. The messages didn't stop there, with the man finding a message typed out on his phone 10 hours later, which read, now this is obviously text speak, so we are invited 4 nights to... it's more or less gibberish, Alex. Unsure what these series of numbers and letters meant, he took to the internet to find out more. The Stockton man added, I googled these numbers and it came up with an equation created by German scientist Armand Huckel. The Huckel formula, using 4n plus 2, is a calculation of a molecular orbitus on electoral systems. Naturally, I've never heard of this and never used this equation in my life, so I'm very unsure how it ended up as an unsent text message on my phone. Now, what is this man talking about, Alex?
You put any string of numbers or letters into Google, you'll get something, you know?
Why did he feel the need to include the fact that apparently the Huckel formula is a calculation of molecular orbitals on electoral systems? Also, why did he feel that would be in a text message?
Well, it wasn't a text message, Rob. Rob, it wasn't a text message.
Sorry, it wasn't. You're right, Alex. The Stockton man can't think of anything else other than the visiting of York's haunted pubs has resulted in a ghost sending cryptic texts and also equations on his phone, or maybe something more explainable. He said, well, it's either paranormal activity or someone's managed to hack my phone hack into my phone number and send texts on my behalf. I don't know how the text got there, neither of us sent them, and neither of us had any texts like this since. With no explanation to the man's text messages, the mystery continues.
I'm almost disappointed it wasn't that he was texting some other woman and then blamed it on a ghost. But this is still an intriguing story. It is intriguing, Rob. Maybe somebody was trying to reach out from behind the grave, and maybe that whole thing, that equation to do with molecules and whatever it was trying to tell us something about, some cure for a disease or the key to immortality, or something like that, Rob. And because it was sent to this dimwit, we'll never find out.
and not just him trying to text another woman, Alex. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, not just him trying to text another woman.
My next story, Alex, is from the Evening Standard. Is there a journalist listed? Oh yeah, Josh Salisbury from the 27th of March. You may have seen this, Alex, but London Council spends £19,000 housing 4 cats in luxury pet hotel.
Now, I don't like stories like this because it's the kind of story that you get where you think, oh God, it's just propaganda. But when things like this actually happen, it really doesn't help that cause of, I don't know, like where you get people go, oh, immigrants come here and they're put up like they're in a glorious hotel and things like that. And you get a lot of these sort of fabrications. But I'm assuming this is a real story, but it doesn't reflect well on the council. And can we say who the council was?
It's mentioned in the story, yeah, so I think so. Also, this was originally reported in the Daily Mail, which I'm sure comes as no surprise whatsoever.
This is a red meat story for them, isn't it?
Yeah. So, an East London council allegedly spent nearly £20,000 housing 4 cats in luxury accommodation after the owner became ill. So, under the Care Act, local authorities have a duty to care for pets when their owners are hospitalised, and there are no friends or family who can take them.
I did not know that.
No, nor did I. This is entirely new to me. It kind of makes sense, though.
Is that not one of the things that we can... Hang on a minute, Rob. In order to save money, which we need to do as a nation at the moment, is this not one of the things that we could cut? I know that's savage, but, we just have to, let the cats roam wild and...
Well, personally, Alex, I think it's only a matter of time before the Tories get wind of this and realise that there's a source of free meat going.
All that.
So councils across the country have spent nearly £1 million between 2020 and 2022 looking after other people's pets, according to a freedom of information request by the Daily Mail. What
I love about the Daily Mail... Sorry, Rob, to interrupt. What I love about the Daily Mail is a lot of these stories about freedom of information requests. And the Freedom of Information Act is a very good one. But it just leads to a lot of journalists sitting around thinking, what can we ask for requests about? How about, what would really anger people? The idea that pets are being looked after better than humans, right? let's get a freedom of information request to find out this. I mean, that is how it works. Do you know what I mean?
Alex,
it's like, what's it called? What's that? Fishing. They're freedom of information fishing, aren't they?
Look,
fishing
Alex,
with their
pee. There are three things that journalists do, okay? One of those is obviously go and buy various different products from supermarkets to see which one's the best. There's obviously this kind of thing where there's freedom of information quests, and there's spending a lot of time on OnlyFans trying to work out where people originally worked and how they made their fortune. So this is just one of those, Alex.
Right, thank you.
So among them was Hackney Council looked after 34 cats and 5 dogs over the 2-year period, according to the FOI. In one instance, officials at the local authority allegedly spent £19,027 putting up 4 cats in the Elm Tree Luxury Pet Hotel. The establishment, which describes itself as a 5-star hotel for pets, offers its animal guests underfloor heating, a manicuring pad, and even a chauffeur service.
Why? Why is it not just bare bones? Here's some cat food. Here's Top Cat on TV, and just leave them to it. What the fuck is this about? What council was this?
No, this was Hackney.
That surprises me. Hackney isn't like a rich area, is it? I mean,
no.
Right.
It continues. So the paper reported that Enfield Council, North London, was forced to take care of a cockatoo in November 2020, which cost £930 before the bird was given a new home.
Before the bird was shot. Okay. Yeah.
Before the bird was taken outside and beaten to death. According to the data, Liverpool City Council alone spent £222,000 in the last 2 years caring for abandoned animals, in one case spending £10,000 on bed and board for a single dog.
Fucking hell, man.
I know. Plymouth City Council were left to care for 52 pets, including a terrapin, while 4 goats were reportedly taken into the care of Nottinghamshire County Council.
Do you know what it is, Rob? It's hang on, Rob. It's things like, I love the phrase like the council was forced to look after a cockatoo, and just a terrapin being included in there. This is tickling me.
And 4 goats reportedly taken to care by Nottinghamshire County Council, and the last one.
Sorry. 4. Hang on, Rob. Slow down. 4 goats were taken into care by Nottingham County Council.
Yeah.
Who the fuck's keeping goats in Nottingham?
It's good.
Well, maybe they were Rob. Maybe they were love goats.
Maybe. Well, Alex, you've often maintained that you want when you picture Nottinghamshire, you want this very sort of leafy, sort of almost a mythical land, which would obviously play into these goats.
Rob, I want it to look like the vistas in sort of Games Workshop magazines. You understand what I'm trying to get at now? That's what I want Nottinghamshire to be like, yeah. And it's not. I just have to live with that.
No. Just to finish off, by the way, meanwhile, 2 ferrets were rehomed by Hartlepool Borough Council at the cost of £200.
Okay, Rob, it is time for our listener story of the week. And who's it from this week?
So this week it is from Amy.
Amy in Nottinghamshire, we think.
Yeah, close enough. So technically speaking, this is a follow-up story. So I think we needed to report it. And now it is from Lad Bible, which is not ideal, but we can take it. It's by Jake Massey from the 15th of March. Now, Alex, do you remember a story about a man finding the world's largest potato?
I do. I also just want to say Jake Massey sounds like he would work for Lad Bible.
Yeah, absolutely does. Yeah, you're right.
Do I remember? Say that again. A story about
a man who found the world's largest potato in New Zealand.
Yes, was he the guy? No, he wasn't the guy who was watching deer having sex out of his window. That was a different story.
No. He found a potato. Well, he dug a potato and gave it the name Doug. And approached Guinness to see whether he had the world's largest potato.
Yes, I remember.
Well, this is a follow-up story, Alex. It's not good news, unfortunately. So, owner of world's largest potato left deflated after learning it isn't a spud.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What is it then? If it's not a potato, is it his head? Okay. Anyway.
No. So spare a thought for Colin Craig Brown, everyone, who's just discovered that his prized potato isn't actually a potato. The kiwi. Now, I don't know why they put this in brackets, but they literally put the kiwi in brackets, a New Zealander, not fruit, in case you were confused that the man might be a fruit. But I mean, obviously you're reading the Lab Bible, so maybe you needed that clarification.
It could be a vegetable.
Well, true. So the kiwi thought he had unearthed the world record-breaking spud whilst out in his garden near Hamilton in August last year. The gargantuan discovery weighed in at 17 pounds, which will make it considerably heavier than the current world record holder, which was discovered in Nottinghamshire, weighing 11 pounds.
Rob, give me a feeling. You're good on things like this. What would, as an everyday, I don't know, household item or object, what would weigh about 17 pounds?
Good question. So I would say that 2 average size house cats will be about 17 pounds.
Right, okay, so fucking pretty heavy then, yeah.
Yeah. So Guinness World Record had to send a sample of Doug, which was the name of the potato, off to get tested before crowning him the new top potato. But the results showed he wasn't a spud at all. He was an imposter, a fraud, a charlatan, and a gourd, which is basically an edgy cucumber. So apparently it's a gourd, not potato.
What's a gourd?
So that's a good question, Alex. I think it's like, let me get a definition of a gourd. I mean, as I say, it's an edgy cucumber. So gourds include the fruit of some flowering plant species in the family of Cucumbitaceae, particularly. So it's things like what is that? There's like an egg. What is that? Is that aubergine? What is?
Sorry, Rob. Rob. Just stop a second. Are you telling me this man found a cucumber? I thought it was a big potato. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Obviously, so a gourd is obviously different to squash, but a bit like a cucumber. I can't think what the yellow things, what they call. I can't remember what they're called now. But
like squash. I understand. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like that.
But how did he mistake that for a potato? Did his one happen to look like a potato? Did it?
Well, it does look. I mean, it's brown. I mean, there's a picture of him sitting with it with a pair of sunglasses on. I don't know why he's done that. But he has. So he also appeared on This Morning, reflecting on the revelation that Doug is a gourd. Colin said, "It's not like we've strived to do this. It's just a happy coincidence. We didn't plan to grow the big potato. It was a bit of a deflation, but as you walk along through life, those shitty sandwiches, someone tucks into them in your lunchbox." Very strange quote there.
So sorry. I need to analyse this pearl of wisdom from Doug, not the gourd, but the human. What was his quote there, which I want to try and remember? Sorry. So when you walk through life,
so the whole quote is, "It was a bit of a deflation, but as you walk through life,
right? Let's start from there. Let's go through it slowly.
Sandwiches,
as you walk through life, these shitty sandwiches.
Yeah. Someone tucks them into your lunchbox.
So he's saying that occasionally you will get a shitty sandwich because somebody tucks it into your lunchbox, and you've just got to kind of learn to ride with the shitty sandwiches in the hope that sometimes you get good ones.
Yeah.
As you walk through life, these shitty sandwiches, someone tucks them into your lunchbox. Rob, is that a euphemism? Has somebody tucked their shitty sandwich into his lunchbox?
No, I think the way I imagine it is, you sit down to lunch, or you've had a hard morning, and you're looking forward to eat a lunch, and suddenly you open up and realise that, oh look, there's a shit sandwich in there, so it really spoils your day. But that's just one of those things that happens as you walk through life, Alex.
Yeah, and it's very helpful, Rob, and sobering thought to help us through these next few months and however long. Thank you, Amy, from wherever you are. Rob, that brings us to the end. Episode 360 of LA Podcast, and we of course look forward with a mixture of eager anticipation yet trepidation to our next episode, which will be episode 361. And we can be found on our website, which is lapodcast.net. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/LApodcast. We're on Twitter at LApodcast. We are on Spotify. We're everywhere, basically. Wherever you find us, if there is a mechanism to subscribe or to leave us a review, that would really, really help us. And if you want to feature on this podcast, don't be afraid. Go out there, find a story, submit it to us, lapodcast.net@gmail.com. That's lapodcast.net@gmail.com. Alternatively, you can also tweet it to us or post it on Facebook, whichever way you would prefer, and we will endeavour to cover it. We're going to be back in a week's time with episode 21 of the Patreon episodes. Is that right, Rob?
Yep, that's it. Yep.
So if anybody's not on Patreon at the moment, we are on Patreon. Patreon is a kind of a subscribers platform, where people can subscribe to podcasts and get exclusive content. So Patreon is Patreon, patreon.com/LAPodcast extra. And we've already got 20 episodes up there. You subscribe to it, it's £2 a month, and you'll get 2 free episodes to your inbox every month, and they can only be found via Patreon. But we love doing them. They're called LA Podcast and Extra Jab, and in a week's time, it'll be episode 21 already, Rob, of an Extra Jab. We are flying through those, and we're loving doing them. And then, of course, a week after that, we'll be back with 361 of this, the free podcast for you all. And thank you very much for listening, everybody. We've really enjoyed your company. Any final words, Rob?
Well, if people are interested, we can put another tier on the Patreon, which if you want to pay to watch me eat sweets, ideally not naked, but I mean if people pay the right price, they might consider it.
Yeah, we'll work out the pricing structure for that, Rob. Yeah, Rob will eat a sweet of your choice in the nude. Curly Whirly, Mr. Tom
Whirly, finger of fudge, that kind of thing.
Yeah. God bless,
and keep it local.
Local Anesthetic Podcast is now on Patreon, so sign up now to receive exclusive LA Podcast and Extra Jab bonus episodes to your inbox every month. These can't be found anywhere else, and if you want to hear them, go to patreon.com/LA Podcast Extra. More stories about stupid people doing stupid things. Teacher rushed to hospital after shoving USB cable in his penis.
No, fuck off, he didn't.
He inserted the cable to measure the length of his penis out of sexual curiosity.
What pleasure could you possibly derive from this? I mean, apart from trying it this evening.
More stupid people doing more stupid things. Parents ordered to pay 43-year-old son after getting rid of his pornography collection.
I just feel bad for the parents because it seems like the one thing their son has managed to get right is the fact that he has a vintage pornography collection. That's the only thing going on in his life.
Well, inside the boxes were films such as Lesbians in Tight Shorts, University Co-ed 25, and 1001 Erotic Nights.
What can I see? What I'd like to know is, what was it? It was a University Co-ed 25. Did he have the whole University Co-ed series?
And of course, the strangest news stories you've ever heard.
Man left baffled after finding whole potato in his bag of kettle chips.
What?
Dr. Boyce, 38, was watching the deers rut in Leicestershire when he felt peckish and opened a bag of crisps.
What a strange... Was he having a wank? Was he? What a strange... So what a strange thing to include in the story. So the journalist went over there. They're like, tell us what happened. He goes, well, I was watching some deers have sex out of my window.